Most people think that magic is just fiction, that it's not true, and that we only see it in the movies like Star Wars, in which there is this magical force that Jedi can summon. And of course there's magic in Harry Potter, in which Harry and Hermione Granger and Ron Weasley are all putting their strengths together to fight Voldemort and the Death Eaters. So they cause all these spells and they make these potions, and they work together with Dumbledore and all these beautiful creatures, and they have this magic sword of Gryffindor. And then there's of course Lord of the Rings with the great Saruman and the powerful Sauron battling Middle Earth, and they're creating all these armies with orcs. There are wizards and magicians, witches and sorcerers, and it's such a beautiful story. But you and I also know that there's magic in the air in this physical plane as well, because as soon as you and I sit in the theater, you can feel the magic which is created on screen. But as soon as we see these movies, we think it's fake. What if I told you that it's not a matter of whether it's fake or real, it's just a matter if we can remember the true power within, how we can bend energy like Jedi, how we can cast our spells, and how we're already doing that, like Hermione Granger or like Voldemort. Because we can create either in constructive ways or in destructive ways. And the thing is, it's about bringing awareness about the words you cast. Think of this scene when you have this King Theoden. He used to be an amazing king, ruling over Rohan and all the writers of Rohan, and he was suddenly this broken man. Nobody even recognized him, because he was not the same man that he used to be when he was younger. They couldn't grasp upon it, what it was, except for Gandalf. Because when Gandalf the White entered the throne room, together with Legolas, Gimli and Aragorn, I'm sure you remember this scene where Gandalf is pretending that he is still Gandalf the Grey, slowly walking up to the throne room like he's a weak old man, and Aragorn, Gimli and Legolas fighting all these bodyguards of the king. And as soon as Gandalf is facing Theoden, he removes his cloak, gets his staff and well, you might have to see this movie if you haven't seen it, or if you have seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I believe that this scene is metaphorical for a lot of people, a lot of souls in this world, because many of us are not aware of the spells that they are drawn to, that they are being hypnotized, that their minds are being blocked by all kinds of types of magic, because we don't realize our magic within. So people are stuck trying to live their lives in survival mode, and they're on a loop because they go to work, they come back home, sit with their families and then watch their series, go out for workouts or sports, and then they wait till it's weekend or holidays, and years go by, and this is the way they live. And there's nothing wrong with this lifestyle, don't get me wrong. I'm not judging anyone, because I've lived this life for many years and I was happy. So there's nothing wrong with it. However, if you're still watching, you know innerly within that there's more, because we used to go out there, we used to create. You know, people like Einstein and like Edison, people thought he was crazy, but he illuminated the entire world, and it all started with this magical idea, inspiration. And people would think in that time, you know, the first car, people thought, how can you even drive a carriage without horses to, or donkeys or whatever cattle you could get to pull the cart. You can't. You cannot. But I don't remember the name. It will be here for you to read. But the one who invented the car had a dream. It was magic. And you have to be crazy or even lunatic in order to keep going with this. Now, what we're going to do in this video, we're going to reignite the magic within. We're going to find the inner sorcerers, the magicians, the witches, those who are ready to cast the spells. Fuck it, you can be a Jedi. You can be whatever you wish to be. And that's the whole truth. And I am going to talk you through this by going first at the forgotten arts of magic. And then the second part of this video will be part 2, in which we will go through, the tools of magic. So how to use it and how to become Harry Potter for ourselves. Alright, I'm really excited about this. I hope that you will enjoy this journey with me. Grab your magic wand, light a candle and sit and relax. And what you could do as well is write down what resonates with you. And if you feel like, hey, I learned something new, write it down, because as soon as you write it down, you will remember, and it will train your subconscious mind in order to get it into your conscious mind. And we made videos about this in the past. You could look at, you can look it back. But for now, let's focus on magic. Let's go. All right. So, part 1. The forgotten arts of magic. And of course we need a wand. All right. Okay, before we dive into this theme, this way to look at energy, I want you to know step 1. There is balance in between dark and white magic. There is Sauron and Saruman, and there's Gandalf. There's Voldemort and the Death Eaters, and then there's Harry Potter and all his lovely helpers like Dobby, who in the name of love fight for what's theirs. Now, what I want you to really, really know is that magic for itself is neutral. It's not bad, and it's not good either. Alright? So, imagine we have a knife. I can use this knife to stab one in the throat. Pah! Oh! And then, of course, this will be a horrible thing to do. But we could imagine that I would be able to do this. In theory, I couldn't even, I think I couldn't even kill a chicken when it comes to it. Maybe I could. I haven't been in this situation. I just go to the grocery store and buy chicken and then eat a lot of... But I digress. And a knife can also be used to cut beautiful tools, to make woodwork, And a knife can also be used to cut the food and make delicious, spicy... Oh, maybe I'm hungry because I'm talking about food all the time, but we can make lovely dishes with a knife. So a knife is a tool. It's not bad, it's not good, it's neutral. Same goes with magic. Same goes with social media, same goes with everything in life. It's neutral. It all depends on your look at it. And in order to truly fully embrace the magic within, the true power, you have to be aware of both sides of the knife, or in this case, of magic. So before we start with all the kinds of tricks that we are able to apply into our lives, I really want you to be aware that magic is neutral. You decide. All right, this is the law of polarity. We've talked about this before, but I'm going to shine some light on this again because it's really important. It's one of the 7 hermetic laws of the universe. There's light and dark, yin and yang. Both exist, so bring awareness to it. Okay, now what I want you to know is that I used to be so mad about the world because the other team, as I like to call them, is trying to hypnotize you, and they're trying to make you think that you're not able to do anything, that you're just a worker, because you go to school and you learn all the things you have to learn about XYZ. You're gaining knowledge, but you're not learning how to apply the knowledge in practical life. You're not actually gaining wisdom. And wisdom is truly needed for everyone to be successful in life, whether you're going to be an entrepreneur or whether you're going to be whatever you want to achieve in life. If you want to be creative with music, you have to be wise. Because you can be smart and know a lot of things, but if you do nothing good with it, then there's no use of it. Okay? And the other team, they are distorting us. Truly they are. You know, 5G, what we are using on our phones for internet, it's all beautiful and all, and it has to go faster and faster and faster. Did you know that all the poles they are installing in your area as well are following hermetics? And then you think, hey, hermetics is good, right? Well, of course, there's no good or bad, but they're making these beautiful patterns of flowers, and these are esoterical forms. But what this does, it distorts the true ether. The ether is the natural source of energy, source of clouds, you know, the cloud, and they are distorting this.
Well, okay, this is an interesting claim, and to be honest, I don't want to be the guy who saw a video on Instagram and then fully takes it for truth without doing my own research. So I've looked upon some of the information about this ether, and I found the following information. So the scientific ether, which was covered in the 19th century, and this idea was of a physical medium for light waves, and experiments like Michelson-Morley showed it didn't exist. In mainstream physics, ether as a substance is considered as debunked. Alright, so that's the scientific ether. On the spiritual energetic ether, the following is what I found. Many mystical traditions, Hermetics, Eastern philosophies use the ether to mean the subtle energy field underlying reality, also called Akasha, which are the Akashic records. And this is also known as prana and chi. And this is more known in the common tongue. I'm sure if you're spiritual interested that you have ever seen or heard about the Akashic records, which would be some esoterical database in which you can tune into with meditation. And this is the part in which it's hard to actually prove that it's there, because we cannot see it. We can only feel it if you meditate. I believe it's there. So I'm not here to say to you it's 100% true. And I know in the video in which I'm recording, you can see me stating it's as a truth. But I need you to do your own research on this. So why are some so certain about 5G and the ether? It's because when it comes to direct experience, healers, meditators, and sensitives often claim that they feel disruptions from the electromagnetic field. And their certainty comes from perceived energetic events. And even if these aren't fully explained scientifically, they can sense it. Such as me, I can sense it, but I cannot explain that. Then the next question I asked myself was, could it be hidden? And here's the nuance. When it comes to health regulators, they say that they focus on measurable physical health risks, like cancer, DNA damage, or heating effects. So if you do research about this, then this research will show that there is no damage done. But note that it all depends what you are looking for in specific research. And in this research, they were looking for damage done to the body. And they found that the EMF will turn up the heat, but not from our bodies, but not as much enough to actually bring damage to our cells. So in that way, to our health, it's not damaging. When it comes to spiritual perspectives, they say that they see damage not as a physical illness, but as a lowered vitality, blocked intuition, and disconnection from nature. So things don't typically measure. That's what they say. And what can we make of this is the following. Science tells us that 5G is safe within physical limits, so it's not hurting your body. But ancient traditions speak of a subtle life force, the ether, that modern science doesn't measure. And therefore, technology could be affecting this energetic field in ways we don't fully understand. That's the real question. I don't have the answer, so I want to make sure that I do not claim I have the answer. I was struggling with the microphone, and my glasses. Oh, I'm missing a paw of this. But I want to know, what do you think? Do you think the ether is damaging our inspiration, our intuition, or do you just think this is all a hoax? Wink, wink. Let's continue the video. Let me know in the comments how you think and feel about this. I am eager to know.
So how can you go back to it? You can go back to going to nature, going to sound bath, taking sound baths, or doing whatever to distort that. But I also want you to know that as soon as you are aware of the tools they're using, it is less effective for them. I used to be mad, so angry. Oh, the Illuminati is doing this, and the Bilderbergers are doing this. And when I look at Israel and Palestine, that's horrible what's happening there. And it's all a puppet game, and these puppet masters are playing with our souls and our minds, and they are. But I choose to look at it neutrally now. It's not bad, it's not good. It's just as it is. It's Saruman's curse. Because as soon as I'm focused only on all the bad things happening, which I see on the news, it's keeping me asleep. I feel like I'm awake, just like Theoden. He thinks that he's doing right, when Grima is also talking in his ear and saying, because they call him worm tongue, like, oh King, your majesty, you shouldn't really believe all these people. We are being fed with all these belief systems, which might not even be the ones that we are choosing to believe. You know, if you choose to believe what you see on the TV and on the television, that's your choice. But realize they literally tell a vision. And it's a vision. It might not even be yours. It's your choice. Be mindful. That's what I'm saying. When it comes to the white side of magic, you notice that a lot of people are waking up. Many people are seeing the news, watching the news, and thinking to themselves, wait a minute, I cannot change anything about it. Let's shut off the TV. And let's just be a good neighbor to the people in my neighborhood because that's what I can influence. Or, wait a minute, why watch all this stuff when I can just send money or clothes? We're all brothers and sisters. We're all in this community, so let's build it together. Now the time has come that we are doing research for ourselves, and COVID-19 was a great start of this new way of living. So when I look back at COVID-19, I always said, this time is horrible. It is the worst thing that happened to the world in ages. And now I look back at it and I think like, it's not bad either. It just is. And I wrote songs about it, and free all the people in the world, and I wrote many songs about it. And truly, I really felt that fire fighting for what's right. But how do I know what's right? I only know what's right for me. Doesn't necessarily have to be right for you. Right? Right. Okay, so Gandalf's white light is saving Theoden. And the white light of Gandalf is, to me, is awareness. Shine light on whatever you think that you are trying to investigate. Do your research, read books, read articles, talk to people, watch videos, listen to podcasts, keep your eyes, ears, and all your senses, even your sixth sense, open to all possibilities. And that is the light of Gandalf, which is setting the king free of its spell. And realize we are all kings and queens of our own kingdom. And we are creating our entire kingdom. The thing is, are you aware of your creation? Okay, one practice I have for you to do is, basically there are many people writing about this, and one of my favorite writers is James van Praagh. He is an American psychic who has many conversations with souls on the other side in order to help their families on our side of the reality to help through their traumatic events. And he basically states that there are two sides. There's only love or fear. He's not the only one who refers to it. Neil Donald Walsh, famous in the 90s for having a conversation with God and sharing it into a book in 3 parts. I started with part 1 a few weeks ago, and now I'm reading through part 3 because I was so excited about the story. But Neil Donald Walsh also talks about two sides. There's either fear or love. And the funny thing is that just as it goes in the law of polarity and the duality, it's not truly two things because it's more intertwined. But for the sake of getting this, we are going to say that there are two sides. There's two choices. Either you're going to choose from fear or love. So, for example, I am now I've quit my job. I loved teaching kids. Educating as a teacher, geography is what I truly love to do. And it was my only source of income together with doing music. A voice in myself, in my mind, is saying, oh man, how will I get money? These are my only sources of income now. How can I provide my family? So I might as well stick with the job. Stick with the job. And I like what I do. And I love what I do because I love educating people. But when it comes to love, I was making many, many hours. while I know inside that there's another way for me to be free, to express my soul and to talk exactly about what I wish to talk about. Like this video, I love what I'm talking about. And I don't have to, tell someone else's story. It's my story, which I totally created for myself, and I'm happy to share it with everybody. So I love creating XYZ. And of course, I can create my own lessons within the systems, but it's still within the system. Now I'm creating my own system. So that's an example of how you can choose from fear or love. Another example. You might have a good friend, or maybe have a daughter, and she has a new boyfriend. And you look upon this dude and you feel that it's not really resonating. This guy is not really taking good care of her, and you can see it. And you're afraid that she might be hurt. And you love her. You see how these two are intertwined, but you, out of fear, you just say, let's say her name is Jennifer. Jennifer, don't do that. This dude, Mark, is a total douchebag. Can't you see how he's treating you? You're afraid. Instead, you should not do anything. You could look from the perspective of love, and then you say, because I love you, Jennifer, I am going to say what I see, and I'm going to have a conversation with you about this. Hey, I see that Mark is doing this to you. Is that how you see it as well? And if so, could you explain maybe why you're accepting this? Or, Jennifer, I love you, I trust, which is even more hard for us to do, but Jennifer, I love you, and therefore I trust you, and I know that you're doing exactly what you feel is best for you. Ooh. And then we're letting go of our control of the situation, because really Jennifer is in a situation in which she has to learn something for herself, or maybe she doesn't even have to learn anything. It's just her choice because it's her life. She is creating it, not you. It's hard. I'm not saying the principle is simple. Fear or love. But the way to really apply this, the application, is challenging for us. But I believe that the universe, or God, or Allah, or Source, whatever name you want to give it, is never giving us anything that we cannot put up against. Okay? Right. So, realize there's two sides of a coin. Okay, now we're going to dive into the fun part, because we're going to talk, to me this part was fun as well, but now we're going to talk about the practical part. And it's still part of part 1, the forgotten magic, but now we're going to 1.2. 1.2, which is casting spells like Avada Kedavra, Alohomora, and all these spells. Now, literally, realize that you and I, as soon as we're talking, are casting spells throughout the day, the entire day, 24/7. And if we're not talking, then we're thinking, and our thoughts are words, and words are spells. Did you know that abracadabra? I almost wrote down my favorite disco group, ABBA. But I mean, abracadabra, it literally means I create abracadabra. I create as I speak. And it's used in all these folklore, like abracadabra. And then when we say that, we make fun of it. Because we think, as soon as we do that it's silly. And it's not real. But I'm going to tell you, it is real. You are casting spells all of the time. Every word you think or feel is creating your reality. Even the subconscious thoughts that you are not aware of are creating your reality. So if you're going through struggles, and if you're the type of person that always meets toxic people, well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you are creating this. You are the one casting this spell upon yourself. And it's nobody's fault. It's not your fault either. It's your subconscious choice. And I've seen so many people all around me who I love so deeply, and they are going through struggles. For me, for example, as well, I was going through struggles. I always thought that there was a point in my life when I was young that I thought that no girl would ever like me, because I'm this skinny brown dude, and between all these big white dudes in the Netherlands, and they were taller than me, they were stronger, they were better in soccer, and who was I? I was just the funny dude, you know. I don't truly ever believe that anyone would be interested in me. I just was the funny guy. So that became my truth. No girl ever wanted to be with me in a romantic way. And because this was happening, I was talking to myself, see, now I went out to the club and I was dancing and I was trying to, talk to this girl, and she wasn't even interested in me. And now my confidence went down to the floor, and this was my reality, but I was the one creating it until I went out with my cousin when I was like 16, and he just pushed me to a girl. I said, go on, just do it. And I was wearing my Nike shoes, so of course I thought, hey, I'm gonna just do it. And I was dancing with this girl, and then I had my first kiss ever. And I was 16. The funny thing is, I thought it was so cool that I actually kissed a girl that I kissed another girl the same night. Which is ridiculous when I think about it right now. But that's just the way I looked upon it. From that moment, it turned into a game. I thought to myself, whoa, how many girls can I kiss? My intention was never to hurt anyone's feelings. It was just a game to me, because I was young. And I thought to myself, let's have some fun. But casting spells, abracadabra, you are casting your own truths. Because from that moment, I believed, hey, any girl could be interested in me. Any girl. And that's what became my reality. Any girl became interested in me. And, the same goes with people, a lot of men. They are in a relationship, and then suddenly all these women are attracted to them. Where were all these women while I was single? Or I don't know if women talk about this as well, but as soon as I'm single, then all the women are gone and nobody's interested. This is a spell you're casting upon yourself. And it's true because you believe it's true. Well, okay. So, the other team is, and big businesses as well, they are very, very aware of this. I made the example of Nike, and just do it is a sentence that we use so many times. And it is a slogan used for powerful moments. Come on, just do it. Just do it. And as soon as you say it, you're going to think about Nike. And so there are more words, and they are used in ways to program your mind. Like crisis. If you watch the news, when we watch the Dutch news, we have the economic crisis. We have the migration crisis. We have the pandemic. And these are all words, and they are being repeated all of the time, and it's programming your subconscious mind, in which you are starting to believe that this is a terrible time to start a business. My father is a great example of this, because when he in 2008 was quitting his 9-to-5 job, which was very tiring, and he was like, I want to follow my dream, I want to cook for people, I want to make them so happy with doing what I love. And everyone was like, my father's name is René, you are so crazy for doing this in this terrible time, because the economy is declining, everybody is losing these days, you should not do it. And he did it. Until the day of today, he's still doing it. He's living his passion. So he is one of my greatest examples why you should always listen to your own feeling. Everyone around you has their opinions based on what they are casting upon themselves. Everybody on this cells has their experiences based on their subconscious or conscious thought patterns. It never has to be your reality, because you create your own reality. Okay, so what you can do is, Napoleon Hill wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, and Bob Proctor talked about this many times. He is one of the most known in manifestation. If you don't know the guy, you should look upon his video. They are all saying the same, which is you have to train your subconscious mind with and feed it with all the beliefs that you want to know. This is why affirmations are important. And I'm going to say it, bring it to you. So many people, like myself in the past, are not using affirmations effectively, because they are just saying, I am rich, and then they just say it. I am attractive. I am well known. I am famous. All of this is not going to work if you're not going to apply thought with feeling and intention. Which means that you're going to have to think this throughout the entire day. So write your affirmations, start your day with it, and end your day with it when your mind is still in the alpha state, when you're just woke up. When you think it, truly feel it. Feel it in every single bone, in every fiber, because we all are vibration. Feel it in your entire body that you truly are this state. And not just read it out loud. Feel it. And use your intention. See and imagine that this reality is already true. And the intention has to be clear. Why do you want to be rich? Why do you want to be famous? Because with great power comes great responsibility, as said Uncle Ben in the movie of Spider-Man in 2000s. But it's true. When we go to the Bible, in the beginning was the Word. When I used to be young and I heard this sentence and I read it, I didn't understand. But all creation starts with words. Words are the only way for us to translate energy. So truly, I need you to become intentional. Cursing. When you say, God damn it, what are you asking God to damn? What are you asking God to bring to damnation? You're damning yourself. I hate XYZ. Or this is always happening to me. Why is this always happening to me? You're casting a spell for yourself. It's not the universe which is doing anything. God is saying that you and I can create anything that we want. Anything. And that's the thing. Anything that we think and starts with a word, whether it's in mind or in the physical realm as a vibration that we speak, it will manifest. The power of manifestation is more powerful when we are vibrating on a higher level, when we are vibrating on love, peace, and inner calmness, rather than when we're angry. So you don't have to be afraid whenever you're so angry and you're damning someone. Oh, I wish you would die, or I wish you... all these terrible phrases are not so likely to become into fruition. And know that it's also repetition, because the repetition and the true intention and the feeling behind this is what's creating it. And know that the feeling of love is always more powerful, because in the end, God or Source is love. So the most powerful way to create is from love, and you cannot really create from hate. You can, but it will cost you a lot of energy to do this. It will tire yourself out. And this, when you create from love, it will give you energy. And speaking of energy, it's getting so hot in here, so I'm gonna take off some of these clothes, not all of my clothes. It's not that kind of a movie. As I was saying, chapter 3, energy bending. This is a beautiful sentence, and my grandmother used to say it to me. And she said it in Dutch, and she always told me, wat je aandacht geeft, groeit. Which means what you give attention to will grow. And this is also having to do with the casting of spells. Know that all the things that we are talking about is I am cutting them in various subjects and chapters, but in reality it's all happening at the same time, right? But what you give energy to, it will grow. So directing thought, breath, sound, or movement bends reality. Literally. You don't have to be Aang, the avatar, to bend energy. You're always bending energy. You know that someone says when this person lights up the entire room. You can not only hear and feel it, it's energy. And we can catch upon this with our sixth sense. People like monks, Shaolin monks, they are able to break bricks, not because they are using power with their muscles. They're literally bending energy. Shaolin monks, they do it with chi. And Masaru Emoto proved intention changes water molecules. It makes me so enthusiastic about this, because water has memory. It's amazing. The experiment was when they would say words to water, or even have a jar with water and then write a word on, and one word would be hate, or the other word would be love, and one word would be nothing. If you said nothing, it died off. This is why truly when you are gardening, it truly helps to talk to your plants. It truly helps. I truly invite you to look upon this investigation just to get sense about what it means to use your energy and your vibe. You can really bend energy with the words you are casting.
I was editing the video and noticed I totally forgot to talk about the other team's curse and the way to awaken to this in a part of energy bending. And I don't want to let you guys go without this information, so let's get to it. Well, when it comes to energy bending, this concept again is hard to measure, because we're talking about energy here, and we're talking about the way that people interact with each other, and it's hard to put like real numbers on this situation to really show, hey, this is exactly happening in this way because XYZ is occurring in the event. But we can make an attempt. Well, the other team, what they are doing is, as we said before, is that they are framing the world to be a place of fear in which we should be afraid of wars and polarity between East and West, and maybe the United States of America versus Russia, and all the states combined with that, like China and Iran, and of course now the big event happening in Israel and Palestine, and it's a fear-based, rage-based energy. And what happens is that the community is being polarized. So there are being chants and slogans, and media narratives are feeding rivalry or fear. In other words, it's they against us, and black versus white. There's been a period when it's were the vaccinated people against the people who were not vaccinated, and all the political affirmations combined with that. And it's the they, them, and all the people who are against changing the gender. It's framing people in a box and getting us away from the community feeling and stating that we're different. And a way to get this in a little sense is that, following example, I have very close friends to me who happen to be fans of a soccer team. And when they went out for a football match, they were meeting this rivalry team, and at the end of the game, these supporters would face each other. And although these people I know, they are not violent at all. They work a 9-to-5 job in the office, and they just have their families and they're regular guys. They told us that as soon as they faced the other supporters, then something snapped, and they just went along with the vibe happening in the group. And this is, as they talk about, an example of collective consciousness. And again, you cannot really prove it, because the only science done and research after this is that they have noticed that in big traumatic events like 9/11, they noticed with meters that the rates of groups of people would be on the same level. And also when people would act upon a group meditation, they would meet the heart rates, and the heart rates would synchronize with each other. There has not been much research other than this proving that there is such a thing as collective consciousness. So again, with this state, I want you to be aware and make up your own mind on this, and not take to this as full truth. But as we bring awareness to all these types of situations, what this does, it brings the awareness to the possibility that it could be a way for them to alter your energy. Now, what is the way to awaken to this is the following. It's to look at the bigger picture and truly try not to frame yourself as I am part of this group, I am part of that group, I do not belong with that, it doesn't resonate what you're saying there. But try to find same ground on humanity and try to see that in the end, we're all people who try to create a safe environment for ourselves and our families, and we're protecting what we think is best for us. And if you can look at it from that perspective, then suddenly we're not so different at all. And we're not having to bend the energy to, suit to each other. But we can accept, hey, I am me and you are you and they are them. And we can do ourselves if we respect each other and let ourselves be.
Now there's this practice that you can do just to feel vibration, is what they also do with meditation, is that people hum. If you do this, you will feel the vibration in your voice. Also, when you're speaking out loud, you can feel the vibration in your voice. You can feel it because it's vibrating in your throat. It's vibrating through your entire brain. And when you listen to your own voice, it sounds different when you hear it on video or audio, because you're not experiencing the vibrating of your voice when you're hearing it. And that's the whole reason why your voice sounds different when other people hear it than when you hear it. its vibration. So humming brings you to the awareness of vibration. What you could do is try group meditation. Invite some friends and you will notice that the energy will multiply. And this is something that you can explain. I can't explain the experience, but it's the same for me to explain what love is. You would have some understanding of the concept of love, but you would only truly embody it when you love someone. So when it comes to meditating in a group, it's so powerful. It's so freaking powerful. You don't even know about all the shifts that you could awaken with the vibration of our vocal cords. Singing. Maybe you have heard it in a church, or if you're not religious, then maybe you have been to a concert and the entire space is singing this one song and you feel the vibration, it's raised and everybody, you can feel it, but you cannot explain it when you come home and tell your parents or your girlfriend how the concert was. Yeah, it was amazing, but you cannot bring the vibration home. Getting in the zone in loving what you do is setting the tone of the vibration, and you can bend it. So practical use is humming. Get in the zone, and by that I mean do what you love. Part 4, spiritual animals and totems. I truly love the Disney movie Brother Bear, in which you have this character named Kenai, and he is becoming an adult, and in this tribe of his, it's the tradition to get a totem of an animal, spirit animal, which will guide you throughout the entire life. Kenai, when he got his totem, he got the bear of love, and he was like, what? I'm a warrior. Why the bear of love? It's a beautiful movie, and I again invite you, if you are spiritual at some point, to watch this video, because it will truly warm your hearts and your spirits. But animals are archetypal guides. They mirror strengths in our unconscious thoughts. Okay, so the other team, they want to hijack archetypes. So in Wall Street we have the bull, and in education it's the owl, because the owl is wise. And in many corporations you will find a lion. And again, there's nothing bad or good about this. It's just emphasizing a particular point of an animal. So why I'm saying this is that many times you will find animals, and unfortunately, because I truly love animals and I truly love spirituality, we're not in that state in which we will go to a tribe and go to a campfire and have this ritual in which we'll get to call upon the ancestors and get this great spirit of wisdom in form of a totem. I have this deck of cards because I truly like it, and I'm not saying that anyone has to have something like this, but this secret language of animals is a beautiful set of oracle cards, and I can call upon the wisdom of particular animals because they all have their beautiful parts. And to explain this to you, you can Google. You don't need this deck of cards. For example, maybe you felt a specific moment, you saw a specific bird, or you saw a wolf, or you saw a fox, and it doesn't really have to be a literal animal. It could be a logo, it could be on someone's t-shirt, it could be a picture, it could be a movie, it could be whatever. If you see an animal and it speaks to you, you can look upon the meaning of the animal, and then it will have a message for you if you open up to it. You know what? I will draw 3 cards and you can pick your card from that. And the way I always do it is I just shuffle the cards, and whenever a card comes through, I will grab it. So I'm doing this intuitively. And even if you do it with your conscious mind, it will work as well, because it's all energy. All right, so this is another card, and then there is 1 card for me as well. All right. Okay, so what I want you to do is, I have 3 cards in here, and I personally love these cards. You saw me shuffling the deck. There was no influence of this whatsoever. I want you to look at these cards and pick the card which suits to you the most. Okay, it could be card number 1, number 2, or number 3. Now I'm going to turn the cards around and come a bit closer. Card number 1 is the card of water. Oh, card number 2 is the lotus blue butterfly. And card number 3 is the bee. So, whatever card you picked, the message that you will read here is especially for you. And I will, you can pause the video and I will set these cards for you there. Animals are creations of Source as well, just like you and me. The only thing that we say is the difference between us and animals is our mind, but we are learning more and more about the consciousness of animals. And we're learning that they're very, very, very intuitive, and they know way more than we used to think. What you could do as practice for this is, if you see an animal, look upon the meaning of this specific animal. Use cards or use the internet, it's all up to you. ChatGPT, you can use it all. Meditate with the question, which animals guide me? My girlfriend and I, we have 3 dogs, and we truly believe, we feel that these are not just our pets, they are spiritual companions to us. And each of the dog has a lesson for us as well. One dog, for example, she keeps barking all day because she wants to protect us, of course. What it teaches me is patience. And then there's this other dog who just only wants to cuddle all the time. And this teaches us affection. And there's all these types of lessons hidden within the animals, if you're open to it. Even to your pets, fish, everything is energy. Alright, we're coming to the last chapter of this first part of the Forgotten Arts of Magic, and this is part 5. And part 5 is telepathic communication. Forgive me for my handwriting here. Telepathic communication. And we are all psychics. We are all tuning into the power within our psychic realm, because think about the following story. You are going around your business, you're at home, and you think about this friend that you haven't seen in a long time. And you think about how much you love her and how much you wish that you were together, and you are reminiscing the beautiful moments that you shared and memories that you've made together, and you just wish that you would see her. And now suddenly you are being called. You grab your phone and you see it's her. How? This is an example of the telepathic communication that we all hold. And how is this possible? Well, it's because we're all built of frequency. You and I are all energy. We're all vibrating. If you're still watching the video, you know this. This is all in your awareness. So the other team, they are very predictive with their algorithms reading you. So what they are doing, they are broadcasting fear upon you. Their telepathic communication is beware, pandemic, war, crisis. When we watch the news, 80% of it is bad news. And maybe 20% is nice. Like there has been made a new world record for holding the longest breath, or there has been born a new lion in the zoo, those types of news. If we look at all these news channels, they are casting not the most important news, they're casting the most interesting news. And what do we think is interesting? That which scares us. Oh no. And I'm not saying it's not terrible. Don't get me wrong on this one. I truly believe that war is horrible. And I truly believe that we should be informed about what is going on in the world so we can help each other. But I do not believe that I will have to be confronted with it every single day, all day long. In the morning news, in the afternoon news. There was a time in which I would watch the news over and over again. So my mind was being programmed with the telepathic communication that there's only things to be afraid of. And that's not true. It's just one side of the story. So the algorithm of the other team is reprogramming your mind to believe that there's only things to be afraid of. Okay. So the awakening side, you and I, are waking up to this, and we feel coherence with our heart and experiments and the twin telepathy, which I just said before with this friend that you were just calling. One time I was thinking about a friend of mine, and I was going on my business, and then I decided just intuitively, let's go for an ice cream. So my friend and I were walking to this ice cream. We were talking about this other friend and how long we haven't spoken to him and how much he inspires us. And we're standing in line to get an ice cream. Look who is coming to meet us to get an ice cream, this particular friend. So you don't know consciously how this is happening. You only can feel it intuitively. So, for example, me, I don't know exactly what is going to happen when I quit my job. I don't know. I do not have a palantir in which I can see into the future. But I sense that it will bring me the best opportunity fitting with what I am resonating on now. So, let go of knowing and logic and tune into the feeling. And if you still have doubts, you should watch the video I made about this before, because it will help you to let go of this logical way of living and tune into intuition. Okay, now another example is that you are being called and you just know who is calling you. You don't even know. You couldn't have known before. when somebody will decide to call you, but as soon as your phone rings, you are like, oh, this is Jessica. Oh, this is Adrian. Oh, you just know. How? How can you know? It's telepathic. It's a sense of being. Okay, so the telepathic communication is the inner, how I would say it, knowing. And it's without logic. You just intuitively know. How can you practice this skill? Because it's an amazing essence of our magic, which we can use to truly create beautiful things in our world. Okay, what you could do is, if you love someone and you haven't thought about him, and maybe even when you are in a fight, with someone and you reminisce and you think, well, we used to be so good friends. Oh man, why are we in this situation now? What you can do to solve it is you don't have to only do things, you can literally change the vibration. So instead of focusing on why you are angry with this person, or why what it is that he said or she did to make you angry, I want you to focus, if you truly want to resolve this conflict, what you can do is truly, sincerely think about this person and wish them all the best and all the love in the world from your heart, and truly with intention and feeling. Not only say, well, I wish you best, but still, fuck you, I don't care what you're going No, that's not going to work. If you really want to resolve it, send love. Send love in meditation, which can also be prayer, to your, let's call it a frenemy. And Jesus Christ said it as well. And it's not only because he was only tuning into love, it's also good for you. It's also helping you. Love your enemies. Forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing. Or they do think they know what they're doing, but within their consciousness, awareness, they think they're doing all the best. And so do you. So, what you also can do is train this with your partner, your loved one, and just say, hey, honey, what am I thinking about now? And just make a game of it. Just see if you can really sit on each other's wavelength. The video will be put into 2 sections. So this was the first section, which was the forgotten art of magic. In the next video, we're going to talk about the tools of magic, and we have used one of the tools, which is cards, but there are more tools to it, and we will dive into this in the next video. For now, I truly love the fact that you're watching this video to this point. I hope that you can ignite the magic within yourself and become a true sorcerer. If you really thought that this was interesting or helpful at any way, show it by please giving a heart to this video and leave a comment. It means the world to me, and know that I'm truly operating from true passion and I love what I'm doing. I hope that this is coming across to you, because I want to inspire you to do the same for your inspiration and your passion. And if you want to learn more about how you can make this into a profitable way and a beautiful way of living in which you are following your soul, you can apply for the Passion to Profit coaching course, in which I will personally guide you into either discovering your passion or going through with this passion and making this into a profitable way of living. I do not work with anyone, so go ahead if you are interested and fill in the questions so I can decide whether I will invite you for a conversation to look in the ways if I will be resonating with your growing path. And if you feel like, well, I'm not ready for coaching, but I want to dive into creating my first offer, then I have this amazing program in which we intuitively go against creating an offer from soul, in which we do not think too much from the conscious mind and logical ways, but we're going intuitively diving into that inner knowing of you, in which we are only activating it by remembering who we are and what we came here to do. With much love, and until the next video, it's Joshua. And I have to say, liberate your mind, become the best version of yourself. Bye.